So Rakesh, I have the presenter thing now, so I can share the screen. My audio is all right, no? You're able to hear me clearly, no?
Yes, sir. Instead of sharing entire screen, you can only share the PPT wala. That's
But
also fine.
when I go to this thing, I say window. I only see one window, which is that Okta window. I can't see anything
Hi,
else.
Raj.
So I don't see any other other window there other than the browser window. When I say go to window,
Yes.
so if I click on that, that will only share the Chrome window. No, it won't. I say I should see the PPT also. No, if that is the case.
Just a second, sir.
Hi Radhika.
I'm just calling one minute. I'll just talk to her.
Yeah, yeah.
But, ideally, it should show that. I mean, you can only present the PPT thing, PPT window,
But right now when I go to window, no, I only see one window. I don't see like the PPT window.
maybe some issues. I'll check that. But parallelly, you
Oh,
can
no
share the
problem.
entire.
No, so in any case, I can share the entire window. Doesn't matter. No?
Okay.
It's okay.
Sir, you can start the screen sharing, sir. So,
Okay, I'll do that. So Rakesh, you are able to see?
yes, sir.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Good
Rakesh here.
afternoon, Yogesh. How are you doing? This is Uma.
Good, good. Uma, how are you? Good to see you.
Good, good, good. Yeah, let me still the light on and video on. Yeah.
Rakesh, for me, it's asking settings again and again whenever I mute and unmute.
What, Radhika, we couldn't hear you. Yogesh, I have I'm actually traveling tonight. I may be leaving for my flight around. I have to leave home at 5, so I may be logging off at 4. I
No
informed
problem.
Radhika. I just wanted to let you know. Yeah.
No worries, no worries, no worries, no worries.
Can you hear me, Amma, now? Am I
Yes,
audible?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Radhika will start at
Uma,
3 sharp. Everything is set now. So,
okay. We'll start at 3 sharp. Just
yes.
Uma would like to inform. I'll just give some introduction about you, and then I'll pass over to you for the
Yeah,
your
sure.
vision.
So, Radhika, I'm just right now. What are you seeing on your screen? Like I've shared it, but are you
The
seeing?
screen shows only the. It's yeah, I could see, but too small screen. I mean, you have to enlarge your page.
Okay, no.
Maybe make it full screen or something. See.
Yes, I'll do one thing. So Rakesh, I'm just stopping the screen because Uma would address them, and then I will start the screen once we are ready.
Sure, absolutely. That should be
Yeah.
fine.
So that time you can keep it as a full screen with, so people can
So
see
there are
the,
two options, sir.
uh,
Presentation layout and spotlight layout. So present we are in a spotlight layout. So once
Sure.
we start the presenting, then automatically the presentation will come up.
Right. So Uma, Hari is trying to connect us with your team, Hari Bharadwaj.
Right. I know. He's been in touch with Padma, who's our L&D head. I think
Yeah.
you were in touch with Sridhar also in the past, right?
Yes.
He was working with us earlier before he started his PhD at Bhubaneswar.
Right. But I was telling Hari that Volume Moment doesn't have any budget for any outside vendors. So, but he said,
Usually we don't, but then of late, for some specialized programs, we've been doing it, but mostly we do it in-house.
yeah, that's what I understood from you and Sridhar earlier.
Right, yeah.
So we'll show Padma what we are doing actually.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
okay. Rakesh, am I accessible for this record? It's already
Yes.
record started.
Yes. Hello. Hello.
So how many participants do we have, Radhika? Will you be able to see that normally, or?
We may not be able to see all the participants. We can only see ourselves here.
I don't know,
Because
but
the
can you
link
see
is
the count
different.
at least? Can you see a count of people?
No, Rakesh would be providing the details. Even he didn't give me access yet. But in between
Sure.
session, he will provide the
Okay.
access. Yeah.
But Uma, last time I heard they had some 1,500 students.
Right, yeah. Last time we had one on growth mindset. Myself and Manisha, we had taken that
Right.
session.
Very nice. So Uma, you're doing something today a little bit, or you just with the introduction? You're
No, it's just an introduction. Yeah, it's all completely yours because I do think that multiplier this thing will need some tips and tools that we need to train. So we didn't want to break that focus from the students.
yes.
Radhika, we are live now. We can start.
Yeah. Great, Rakesh. Thank you so much. Very good afternoon, everyone. It's a great pleasure to welcome all of you. Hope you all are doing good. I'm Radhika Perumal from HYSEA Secretariat. My role is to provide support for all the activities for the ESG Forum of HYSEA. We are going to start this session on achieving goals. Today, our guest speakers and speakers are here with us. We'd like to introduce speaker Ms. Uma. She's a veteran in the IT industry and served in various roles in global delivery, product strategy, and human resources. She has over 30 years of professional experience in the IT consulting industry and executed successful consulting assignments with numerous clients in India and North America. She is currently serving as Chief People Officer and Board Member of Value Momentum. Her mission is to build high performance teams and leadership to enable rapid growth while cultivating a sense of fun, fellowship, and pride in the workplaces. Prior to joining Value Momentum, Ms. Uma honed her domain-based IT consulting skills while working with multiple organizations in India and the USA. She's a graduate of BITS Pilani and an MBA from Osmania University. I request Uma to give us some valuable inputs on achieving goals and requesting her to introduce our guest speaker, Mr. Yogesh. Over to you, Uma. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Radhika. Good afternoon, all. I hope you remember the session that we had last time, along with myself and Manisha. I'm not sure how many of you were able to attend that session where we talked about the need to continuously learn and make sure that you're upgrading your skills on a regular basis. And the approach to be able to do that, what we call as growth mindset, and the continuous perseverance that you need to show towards learning your goals. Now, what the session that we're going to have today is essentially going to be subsequent session focusing on how we can go about achieving our goals and making sure that we are able to get that multiplier effect. We have a very eminent speaker today who will be introducing you to the topic. Mr. Yogesh Agiwal. He's an internationally accomplished senior executive with over 18 years experience in IT industry and followed by about 9 years experience in leadership development. He has successfully delivered large programs across geographies and for Fortune 500 clients. And as I understand, he's the only leader who's received the Best People Manager Award twice from the Pro Chairman, Mr. Azim Premji. Yogesh has successfully designed, developed, and implemented multiple leadership development programs across various levels of leaders, combining both his business knowledge, having worked in 18 years in the IT industry as an IT delivery leader, and combining it with world-class content and frameworks that he's learned from multiple sources and some that he has developed himself. Along the way, he's also built a solid pipeline for leadership in-house. The team basically builds their own content, facilitates events, and also conducts psychometric assessments and provides experiential learning sessions. He also trains several senior managers across, as I mentioned, multiple geographies, UK, USA, and Asia. Now, Mr. Yogesh has also been a speaker at many national and international forums, such as Chief Learning Officers Summit, Harvard Business School Publishing Partners Summit, the Dale Carnegie 100-Year Convention in Hawaii, and many more. In his free time, Yogesh teaches performance through meditation to corporate executives. We all know that's been proven to be very powerful in improving performance. He's basically been a practitioner of the Sahaja Yoga School of Meditation, and he's been practicing since 1994. Currently, he's the founder and CEO of Leadership Journeys. It's a boutique consulting firm specializing in business focused leadership journeys development, and basically provides industry specialized faculty that encompasses diagnostics prior to the training and then deep involvement of leadership on contextualizing content as well as action learning projects. Today's session will focus on, as we discussed earlier, on how to achieve more within the limited time we all have. We discussed last time, the technology is changing rapidly, and the current rate of change is about 18 to 24 months for any new technology to be introduced. And if you remember, we also talked about the pie shape of learning, where you will need to have multiple specializations while also having a broad understanding of various solution areas. Now, in order to achieve that, we need to be on a continuous learning path. It's not just what you know today as you're finishing your engineering that matters, but also how quickly you will be able to learn emerging technologies and become productive soon. That will differentiate your career path from that of your peers, that you start work with. The better you learn, the faster your career growth is going to be. Now, it is in this context that the session that Yogesh will be taking today is of much essence. How do we learn effectively to quickly become productive? How do we focus on learning outcomes and not necessarily on the activities? There's really no point in putting in 4 hours a day while working 8 hours a day when you're not able to apply that learning in action in a particular project that you're assigned to. So Yogesh is going to focus on how do we focus on the learning outcomes and learn the multiplier mindset from him, practice some tips for mastering this process of learning in an accelerated mode. I hope you all make excellent use of this time. He's a very busy person, and I think he's basically been giving us time to host HYSEA, in the interest of all the students that are taking this session. And we definitely would like to see you become very, very productive individuals and professionals in the IT industry. Over to you, Yogesh.
Okay. Thank you, Uma. So, such a wonderful introduction. And as you said, that this is a very good transition from what you taught them earlier on how do you essentially systematically organize yourself. So especially for students, I think many a times they don't really think about goals so seriously, and they're not so organized as ideally they could be. So what I am doing today, Uma, is that I am going to show them a very nice framework, which is very simple to use. And at Crossover, our company, everybody uses it. And I got introduced to this in 1995, by my manager called Dave Stoll. And it's been more than like what 20 or 30 years that I found it very, very useful. So while the things inside that has changed, but I think the overall philosophy still remains the same. Yeah. So the students may use maybe their device to set up their time, but the concept is still same. So so we'll go through that. So let me share my screen, and then I will also show the presentation. So Uma and Radhika and Rakesh, are you able to see the screen?
Yes, we're able to see it now.
Yes.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. So I'll start with a question on this seeing. There are three things that you're seeing here. One is intention, state, and action. So when I say intention, it is all the goals that we set for ourselves. The plans that we set for ourselves, and the state is how do we show up in my college every day. So what is my thinking when I am there in the college all day, and what is the type of action that I take. So for example, my intention, for example, is if I am like I put on a lot of weight, for example, yeah, and I decide to reduce weight, and then say in January, and then I say Radhika throws a party in HYSEA, and then I see a big spread of that in the HYSEA buffet, and then I take an action to pick up the dessert. Yeah, and at that time maybe my intention, state, action are not in sync. So that's an example of how they have to be in sync. And in our journey today, we look at that. But before I even move into this, one question I have is, uh, which one of these is actually a high priority, which one is a medium priority, and which one is a low priority. So what I want you all to do is that you have to rate them. You have to rate which is high, which is medium, or which is low in terms of its importance. Yeah, so you can see it's a small individual exercise. So you have to rate high, medium, or low in terms of its importance. So intention, state, and action. And I said, I repeat, intention is the goals, the plan that we set for ourselves. State is the day I show up, every day at my college. And action is what do I do, on a daily basis about my intention. My question to all of you, you have to rate as which one you think is high, which one is medium, and which one is low in terms of its importance. So since I can't hear you, since it's a very big group here, you can put it on chat. What do you think about which one should be high, which one should be medium, and which should be low? And I will have Rakesh share with me, what are you guys writing? Yeah. So Rakesh, if you can just keep looking at it as people are posting, their rating in terms of importance. Yeah. So team, start thinking and rate high, medium, and low in terms of its importance. And don't worry about whether the answer is right or not right. It's absolutely okay. You are all students, and we have to learn here. So don't worry about the rightness of the answer. Just reply. Yeah.
Saiba, we are saying that intention is first, so then
Okay.
action and state.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah. What else? Who else? Anybody else who has responded?
Namrata also said the same. Intention is high,
Okay.
high priority.
Okay. High priority. Okay. And she's putting state as the second one and action as the third one.
No, only she mentioned that intention is high.
Okay. 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 Anybody else? because this is a very important exercise, because we are going to revisit this exercise at the end. Okay, so I want you all to, even if you're not typing it on the chat, I want you all to at least write that on your notebook, or on your on your paper, wherever, because we are going to revisit that again. So Rakesh, anybody else?
Yes, sir. Few people, Madhavi said that
Intention should be given first priority, state and action, then state and action.
Intention, state, and action.
Okay, in that order. Okay, intention, state, and action. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So no problem. I think you guys can keep this, this with you as we go along in the journey. I want you all to also start, doing an audit for yourself. So just read this. He who knows not that he knows not is a fool. Leave him. And when I say audit, I want you all to place yourself. Which of these four categories would you place yourself under? Yeah. So he who knows not and knows that he knows not is a child. Like, he doesn't know and he doesn't know that he doesn't know. So one can teach him. He who knows and knows not that he knows is a reposer. So you can wake him up and tell him, Baba, you know this. And at least you know. And the last is, he knows and knows that he knows. He is a wise person. Yeah, and we have to follow him. So what I want you all to put yourself is, which of these categories would you keep yourself in? Yeah, so take few minutes. Don't worry. Take your time to think about this. That which one do you would you put yourself in? He who knows not that he knows not is a fool. He does not even know that he does not know. And he who knows not and knows that he knows not is a child. He who knows and knows not that he knows is a reposer, and last is a wise person. And you don't need to, essentially, share it on the chat. It is only your own personal audit. Yeah. So when you do this audit, you will start seeing that, some of the places, you would actually be a child. Some of the places you might be a reposer, and maybe you are wise in some of the areas, and assuming that you are wise in many of the areas. And there was one wise person, and he was an author. Yeah. And this author was very popular. Okay. And he would write one book in approximately 3 months, and he would get 10 lakhs Indian rupees to write the book. And he became a very famous author. So the publisher will go to him, and then they will tell him to write books. He'll take 10 lakhs. So one day, one publisher came and he said that if you write the book, and we'll pay you 20 lakhs. And he gets very happy that how come these people are giving me double the money. So he says, oh, absolutely, why not? I'll write the book in 20 lakhs. And they say that we'll give you 6 months. Okay. And you have to write the book. And he gets even more happier. He says that earlier I was writing in 3 months, I was getting 10 lakhs. I am now writing in 6 months, I am getting 20 lakhs. So he's very happy. But they say that there is one condition, that if you don't complete the book in 6 months, you have to pay us 40 lakhs, which is the double of the penalty that you will have to pay us. So he starts thinking, and he says that I think I can easily write the book in 3 months. So what is the big deal? I'm getting 6 months, and I'll complete the book. So he, immediately agrees to, with the penalty, and he says, if I don't complete, then I'll pay 40 lakhs. Now, since he's a very popular, author, he gets invited to a lot of these events and this inauguration function, and he's the chief guest. So he, keeps going there, and this contract is signed in the month of January. and by May he has not written even the 2 chapters of the entire book. So he then realizes that I think it's only 1 month left, and if I don't really complete the book, then I will have to pay 40 lakhs. So what he does is, so he lives in Hyderabad only. So he takes all his clothes, all his formal clothes, shoes, everything that he needs to go out, and puts it in a big suitcase and couriers that suitcase to Vijayawada. And he tells his mother, who is living in Vijayawada, that even if I call you to return my suitcase, you don't return me until 1st of July. And then he completes the book. So what you're seeing on the screen here is a concept called akresia. Akresia means failing to do what you know you are supposed to do and doing what you know you are not supposed to do. Yeah. So Akrisha is so his Akrisha was, he was knowing that he should write the book, but he was not doing that. He was going to parties, he was going to inauguration functions, he was not paying attention to that, and he was doing all the things that he was not supposed to do and failing to do what he was supposed to do. So he was not doing, and that is called as Akrisha. And the suitcase that he has put and sent it back to his mother was incretia. It is the penalty of what the to deal with the accretia. Yeah. So incretia is the penalty. Accretia is the temptation to do what we are not supposed to do. So some of the accretia could be, looking at Facebook, looking at Instagram for many hours. I'm not saying that we should not look at any of those, but your accretia could be you're spending too many times on Facebook, or your accretia could be you're spending too much time evening with the friends, moving around to different places. Yeah, your accretia could be watching too much of TV, for example. Yeah. So what I want you all to start thinking about is, in your own notepad, write down all your akrishas, and today evening you should talk about this with your family members or with your close friend in the college and build your incretia. So incretia could be the penalty. Yeah, you can also build the incretia with me. So you can say that Yogesh Agiwal, if I decide to reduce my Facebook time from 2 hours to 20 minutes or 30 minutes. If I go beyond 30 minutes, I'll Google Pay 2000 rupees to you every time I do that. So that is your incretia. Your accretia is looking at Facebook for too long. So what I want you all to do is write down your accretia and write down your incretia also, that you will put as penalty. And I want some of you to share on the screen, on the chat, what are your accretias and what is the incretia that you want to start put for yourself. And these are all like our building blocks for achieving goals, because unless we can manage your accretia, we can't really achieve any goals. So this is like the starting point of that. So I'll give you 5 minutes to think about it, and be very genuine with yourself. Really think about all the things that you are doing which you're not supposed to do, and not doing things that you're supposed to do. Yeah, and write down and put very strong incretia, because if you look at the author's story, he literally gave away all the shoes, all the formal pants, suit, everything, so that he cannot go out at all. He only kept the night dress with him in his home. Everything else was couriered to his mother. That's a very powerful incretia. Yeah. And if you think 2000 rupees incretia to me is a small amount, you can increase to as much as you want. I have no problem. And I'll get Radhika and Rakesh to give you my Google Pay number, so you can, Google Pay to me. Yeah. 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 In fact, if you want, Uma can also, we can give Uma's Google Pay number also. Yeah. Isn't it? So write down your accretias and write down your incretias. And you can optionally also, or some of you can share it on the chat, so that when I see somebody else's acacia, maybe that acacia I also have. Yeah, so you can write down and put your acacia, and talk to your family members today, because it is very good to take their help in the whole process. Yeah. And this diary is going to become very important to all of you, because all these concepts that you're learning, like intention, state, action, akrasia, incrasia, are very, very important building blocks for achieving goals. Because we are not able to achieve goals because, see, all of us have got a finite amount of time every day. Yeah, the question is, where am I spending my time? And I'm not saying that you should not have fun, you should not look at Facebook. You should. I mean, you have to be fully aware of what's happening in the world. But beyond a point, you will have to be careful about how much time you are spending. Yeah, and we will start building on this like this. So slowly we'll go into a very more deeper format. But these are some of the foundational blocks for you to start thinking. Yeah. So you can post some of your acacias on the chat, and Rakesh can maybe uh, see and
Majority
share.
of the people mentioned that mobiles, mobile and
Mobile.
social media.
Okay. Lovely, lovely. Very nice. Very nice. I'm
We
so
are
happy.
saying that
Low marks in exam.
low marks in exams.
Acacia.
Low marks in exams. Oh, that is not acacia. Okay, the low marks in exam is because you have too much of acacia, isn't it? Because you are spending too much time on mobile and not studying for your exams, and hence you are getting low marks.
Maybe words are different, sir, but overall concept is phone and social media.
Phone and social media. Very nice. Very nice. Perfect. Perfect. Brilliant. So keep this background in mind. Acacia, encourage, you got the whole concept. So what I want you all to now start, maybe whatever is your understanding right now. What is the difference between activity and results, and what is the difference between efficiency and effectiveness. Yeah. And again, I keep saying that don't worry about whether it is right answer, not answer. Don't worry, just write whatever is your current understanding of activity and results, and efficiency and effectiveness. So you can first maybe answer what is the difference between activity and results, and then you can answer what is the difference between efficiency and effectiveness. So once you write, Rakesh can read and tell me the response on the chat. And these are important concepts that if you get it early on in your career, it can be very helpful when you go in the corporate life. So write in your chat, what is the difference between activity and results?
So Bhavya is mentioning activities what we perform,
Okay,
and result is the action of the activity.
okay. Very nice. Brilliant.
Namrata mentioning that activity and results are like Newton's third law.
Okay. But is it the first one was by whom, Rakesh? Namrata? The first response?
Sai Bhavya, sir.
Sai, huh?
Sai Bhavya.
Sai Bhavya, okay. So
Yes.
Sai Bhavya, what I want to draw your attention here, Sai Bhavya, is that are you sure that when you do certain activity, you are going to get the result? So Saim again, since we are only going to chat on the on the chat, so my question to you is that the activity that we do, are you sure you're going to get the result from that activity?
Yes, sir.
So let me give you one example of, I don't know how many of you have seen the ambassador car. Okay, and this is a car that was at one point really very popular car. Okay, and they were actually at some point in their life doing too much of activity of manufacturing the cars, and they got the result. There is no doubt about it. Yeah, but at some point in the 1980s, Maruti Suzuki came to India, and Maruti car would give an average of sometimes 18 kilometers per liter, whereas Ambassador was giving maybe 8 kilometers per liter. So slowly, the customer started not buying Ambassador because they started buying the Suzuki motor. So the same activity, Sai Bhavya, of manufacturing was not giving them the right result because nobody was buying. So even though Ambassador factory was very efficient in manufacturing, say, 100 cars every day, but it was not effective because the people were not buying those cars. So many a times when we do activity or even if we do efficiently, we have to also start looking at whether whatever I am doing is effective or not. So for example, you may be spending maybe when you're writing a program or if you're doing coding, you may be writing efficiently, okay, but is that effective? Which was there could be, I don't know, today AI is becoming so popular that AI could do the same thing in maybe half the time, or you could use AI to do the base code and then you refine it. So when we are wanting to achieve our goals, it is not just about working hard, but it is also about working smart, which means you will have to constantly keep looking at the efficiency and then the effectiveness. So that doesn't mean that we should not be paying attention to effectiveness or efficiency or the activity. We have to do the activity, no doubt about it. So when Ambassador was car was manufacturing efficiently, it was very good. They were manufacturing 100 cars a day, which at one point of time a factory could only manufacture 50 cars a day. So they were actually double the efficiency. But what they did not pay attention is that activity gave the result because the market condition had changed, the customer had different options, the same product was no longer effective. So when you go back to your college on tomorrow or on Monday, or when you sit down on the weekend, start looking at all the activities that you're doing today. Are they effective? Are they giving the result that you want? Is there a better way to do it? And this is not a one time deal. Okay, this is like a regular practice that you start bringing in your practice all through your life, irrespective of what position you take when you go out of college. Starting from now, you have to do that. So to drive this example, let me tell a very nice story, so you will get this idea completely clearly. Yeah. So this is by a there is a sage in an ashram, and he wants to, and all of you should listen to this story very carefully, and I want you all to answer the last question at the end. Yeah. So this head of the ashram is going for an international spiritual conference. So he says to his disciples that I want to go for 2 months, and I want one of you to manage the ashram when I'm gone. So as per the HR data, he picks up two candidates who are like high performers in the ashram, and calls the first disciple and tells him that I will be gone for 2 months, so you will have to make the arrangement. So what will you do? So he says, give me 15 minutes, I'll make all the arrangements. So he goes to the kirana shop, he buys all the groceries, whatever is required for 2 months, goes to the kitchen, puts that in the store, and comes back to the sage and tells him that, sir, I have made all the arrangements for 2 months. You can go very happily, no problem. So the sage is very happy. He says 15 minutes, he comes back and gives that. So, but as per the process, he also has to give a chance to the second stage, second disciple, before he decides who he should put as the in charge of the ashram. So he tells the second disciple also that I'll be gone for 2 months. What will you do to make the arrangements? So this guy goes and it is almost like 30 minutes, double the time than the first disciple, and he's still not back. So Sage is thinking, where is this guy gone here? I mean, he's still not back, and he almost in his mind makes up his mind that I'm going to give this ashram to the first disciple. But at the 40th minute, the disciple comes back. So the sage tells the disciple, where were you? So he says that, I first went to the HR department. I asked them that, who are the people who are going to be on leave in the next 2 months. So they said there will be 5 people leave on for 15 days. Then I went to the kitchen and I asked him that what is our average daily consumption of rice and some of the cereals. And I got the data. Then I went to the kirana shop. I said, given that these people are going to go away, I would need this amount of grocery. And usually we buy only every week from you. But this time our sage is going abroad. So I'm going to buy a lot of material from you. So can you give me some discount? And the Kirana shop says, okay, we can give you 20% discount. And then he says, I'll go and take the approval from my sage. And if I don't come back to you in 15 minutes, you assume that approval is done and you can send the material to the kitchen. Now, if you all were the sage, for example, which disciple will you give the ashram to? First or second? If you are a sage, which disciple would you choose as the person to lead the ashram after he is gone?
Most of the persons saying second, sir.
Oh, very nice. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Absolutely. So, any idea? I mean, very nice. Brilliant answer, and that is the right answer. Thank you. You guys are very brilliant. So, any comment do you want to put? Why do you say that you want to choose the second one? And link it back with efficiency and effectiveness. Link it back to activity and result when you're responding to the question on chat. But I want you to get this concept really nicely, because when you are going to work in an organization, this will be very, very important for you to keep in mind.
Swagata saying because he has planned accordingly without wasting the groceries.
Very nice. Brilliant. Swagata. Huh?
Swagata.
Okay. So can you give a thumbs up there, Rakesh?
Yes.
And if there is a bouquet, you can give a bouquet to her also. Like in Zoom, we have got many reactions. No? If Octava has anything like that. So very nice. Swagata, perfect. Yeah. This is how I think we have to. So from now on, when you are looking at anything that you're doing in your college, whether it is your assignment, whether you're doing any field work, whether you're doing any anything that you're doing, you have to constantly keep looking at, is this the effectiveness or is it only efficient? And please, don't mistaken me that I'm not saying that you should not be efficient. You have to be efficient, but the same efficiency over a period of time also has to be looked at with effectiveness. If you're not effective, then you go back again to look at your efficiency, change certain things, again become efficient. So, for example, in Ambassador car story, they could have also, changed the engine. They could have also looked at the R&D on why is this car not giving the same amount of average that the Suzuki motor was giving, and they could have again then become efficient. Then maybe at some point in the future, electric cars would now is coming. So if they continue to manufacture the earlier one with great efficiency, is of no use, because people are not going to buy that car anymore. So you have to constantly keep changing to achieve your goals by effectiveness. So essentially, if you look at this powerful, definition, you will see that. Or before that, let me give you this small activity. So, you can look at, some of the activities in your own life and see where is, where you are seeing there is less of effectiveness on only you're doing some activity, yeah, which is not adding much value to help you achieve your goals, yeah. So you can look that, and what will, so if you can take like 2 3 minutes to write down, are there any, and like, slowly you start linking all the concepts that you're learning, so you started with auditing yourself, you looked at accretia, incretia, yeah, you looked at effectiveness, efficiency, you looked at activity and result. So you start building that in your background, because for you to achieve your goals finally, these are all important elements for you to consider, yeah. So keep writing as we go along. So finally, if you look at the definition of achieving goals, knowing what results are important, which is the intention, focusing on our state, and taking actions to achieve them. Now, if you look at this definition, everybody, those who wrote that intention should be high will now realize that unless I have the state also which is high, and if I take the actions to achieve, all three should be high. I intentionally asked you to rank them in that order, but in reality, all three are very important. Which means, in my earlier example, if I decide that I want to lose weight, which is my intention, and I go to this HYSEA party where Radhika is arranged for a very nice buffet. So I have to keep my state in mind, that I have to keep remembering that, oh, my goal of achieving to reduce my weight, which is my intention, and my state of not getting too tempted to eat and not taking the action of picking the sweet is required for me to achieve the goal. So all three are equally important. You can't have like intention high and state is medium and action is low. No, all three are important. So I want just all of you to maybe just write your response on this. That have you got this right? Do you have any questions? Do you want to ask me anything uh, on this before we move forward? So just your response on the chat on this definition or whatever we have learned so far, anything that you would like to ask. And don't worry if you have not got this right, please write on the chat. I'll be okay to, or I can explain you one more time. You can ask me any question also if you have, so that I can answer that.
Responses we got, sir. We don't have any questions. We can go to go.
Perfect, brilliant. This is a very brilliant batch, Rakesh, looks like, no? Yeah. So now what we will do is I want you all to start. Maybe if you like to have like two diaries. If you like to have, or you can even do it. On your mobile, no problem. whichever. But I feel that having a physical diary is better. So I want you to have two diary, or when I say two diary, it could be two notebooks also. Like you can keep like those 100 pages notebook that you get in the stationery shop. So today evening, buy these two diaries, okay? And we'll call the first diary as the master diary, you can call it. And the other diary could be called as the weekly diary or the calendar. So you can even buy the calendar diary that we get. If you go to any of the stationery shop, you can get the calendar diary, which is actually, it has got the calendar inside. So you can get a very thin diary for 2023. Buy that. Okay. So one diary is the master diary. The second diary is the calendar diary. Okay. Now in that, I want you all to start, creating categories for yourself and show you some sample categories. Okay. So for example, if I look at family as my category, okay, and in this I could have subcategory called mother, I could have subcategory called father, I could have subcategory called brother. Yeah. On health, I could have subcategory as cycling, subcategory as walking, subcategory as jogging. So I'm giving you some example. In career, I might have category as career, and then subcategory as completing agile certification, and the subcategory as say learning, say AI, machine learning, whatever we want to put. So like this, I have given seven categories, but you can decide your own category. Yeah. So you can first decide the category. Now in the category, we will basically write down what is the plan of my goal for that category. So for example, like your mother wants to go to a pilgrimage, giving an example. Okay, so your category is family, your subcategory here is mother, and you want to take her to pilgrimage, which is say if you want to take her to Nepal, for example. Nepal is where you have got this Pashupatinath temple, and she wants to go there, for example. Yeah. So for taking her to Nepal in the month of November, and if you're deciding now that we'll go in November, then you start writing those goals here. So in the description, you will write for the month of July, apply for visa if Nepal wants visa. In the month of August, book the tickets. In the month of September, book the hotel.
Sorry for the disturbance.
Yeah.
Going forward, I'll post the questions in the public chat. You can directly read the questions.
For me, huh?
Yes, sir. Whatever the questions asked by students, I'll post it in the public chat. We have the public chat, right?
But right now, I can't see anything. I can only see my screen.
In the top of the left, you have a messages. Next that public chat. Once you click that, then.
But I don't
Okay.
think.
Sorry, sir. Got it. Got it. You are showing your screen, right? Okay. Fine.
Yeah, I can't see that. No, I mean I don't have many questions. You are there. You are not going anywhere, huh, Rakesh?
No, sir. I'm there. I'm there,
Then
but the questions are a little lengthy.
oh, question is a little lengthy, huh? Oh, question already come, huh?
Yes.
Okay. So,
Namrata.
we can answer the question. No, Brant. Please repeat. No?
Yeah, Namrata. Just a second.
Yeah, please.
Namrata saying that sometimes time management is also important, right, sir? First one. Second, because second person have taken the long time, and it was almost a peak time where the sage was about to appoint a first person. When a person is having very less time and they have to finish the target, what is the main thing he or she should focus on it to
Very
get the
interesting.
good result?
Very, very brilliant question. So it is Namrata, kya?
Yes, sir.
So Namrata, what you asked is very brilliant question, and we have to achieve, if there is a target like this where you really have less time and you have to achieve, absolutely we should go with with the first stage, no problem. Okay, but what we want to do is that not every day that is the case. There are times when we have to reflect back and see that is that the best way to operate. So in this case, okay, no problem, you can take sage one, but in long run, will sage one will disciple one be the best person? No. So what we need to bring into an habit is that if there is a commitment, if there is something that you have shared somebody, no problem, go ahead with that shortcut. But in long run, that is not a sustainable solution. So what happens in general with us is that we get into the habit of constantly taking that efficiency wala route. We don't look at the effectiveness as much as we should. So what I want you all to get into a habit is that, like for example, I run this company called Crossover Leadership Journeys. Okay, we are an 8-year-old company. Um, so we constantly keep looking at our content to get the feedback from the, from the client. Okay, why are we doing this? Because if we don't do that, then maybe I am efficiently running the program, but is it making a difference to people's lives? For example, today we are doing this program, and I would talk to Radhika, I'll talk to Rakesh, I'll try to figure out how many of you are really implementing this, for your future. And if we get this effectiveness, only then we'll run this program again next year. Otherwise, we'll have to change the format. We'll look at something else. So our idea is that can we, in whatever role we are, whether I am a student, whether I am a computer engineer in a company, or I am a software architect, or I am a finance person, doesn't matter. Even even if you are a person like your mom, I mean, this concept can be applied to anybody. Like even in the kitchen, for example, I and I'll give you this example that my wife, when she used to earlier chop the onions and tomato, it would take sometimes like 7 minutes or 8 minutes to to cut them. And I had gone to Paris once, through my Wipro assignment, and I saw in one of the hotels they had a very nice chopper, and in 2 minutes they could chop, I think, 5 tomatoes and 5 onions in 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes. So I asked this hotel guy, there is a fantastic chopper. Where can I find it? He said there is a store in the mall if you can get it there. I got the same chopper here, and today I must tell you that at least 20 of our relatives have requested and have constantly got those choppers for them, because the my wife, even though she was efficient in cutting the tomatoes and onions, but it was not effective from a time perspective, because once I got the chopper, the same 7 minutes was cut it down to 2 minutes. Yeah. So when I'm looking around, when I'm watching, it is not so. Even if my wife were to cut as fast as she can, okay, she could never go down below 5 minutes, because the chopper had a very different way of quickly chopping them with one press. The whole and it was so beautifully shaped, meaning the onions, the tomato will have all one single type of shape compared to what my wife was doing. So when I got this effectiveness, which means that if we have to have a say larger party at home, lots of guests are coming, that chopper became so handy for us. So when you have less time, I'm not denying that we should do that, but we have to constantly look at our effectiveness when we are doing that. Yeah. So Rakesh, just check with Namrata if she's got the answer. Is she all right with the answer? And is there anything else, Rakesh? Any other question?
No, sir. Namrata question only.
Yeah. So Namrata, hope you are able to get my onion tomato example. And Namrata, hope you are learning to cook at your family with your mother or whoever. Yeah, because nowadays many students
Yes,
don't
sir.
want
Thank
to
you.
learn. Okay, so learn cooking. That is also very important. So let me go back to the category part. So in this example of my say my mother, I want to take her to pilgrimage and to Nepal. So I write down all these things like when will I take the visa. So I record it today. So today is like I think 4th of August. So I put 4th of August here. I put planned closure date for visa would be 31st of August. For booking tickets, so record date will be today, but closure date would be for tickets 15th of September. For hotels, 20th of September. Informing my college professor and administration that I'll be away for 2 weeks, uh, 20th of September. So you're putting all this, yeah. Now you can start putting this, this category, subcategory for as many things. So you may write, so one category could be health, and you can write cycling. You can write here that I will do cycling for 5 kilometers every day, at least 3 times in a week. And you put the plan closure that at 31st December. Like, let me plan for 6 months. You can have another category called, say, walking. I'll say I'll walk at least 30 minutes every day for next, twice in a week for next 6 months. Again, put that date. So you can start having as many as you saw here, right? You saw the seven, but you can create your own categories. I'm giving you a concept. You can decide your own categories. Yeah. So once you have decided the categories, then we get into the plotting part. Yeah. So let me plot it now. So that one diary is the diary where you have put your master, like all the goals that you have set for yourself. Yeah. The goal could be, so you could even have a goal called uh, self development, and the subcategory could be AI certification, or it could be anything. And you write down that I will register here by 15th August. I'll do my first module by 15th September. I'll complete the certification by 15th of November, for example. Just write down. Then you go to plotting. So what you're doing plotting is you take the calendar, which is like that second diary, which is the calendar diary, and then you start blocking the time on the particular category here. So for example, you say that I will apply for the visa on the week of 7th August on 9th August at 11 o'clock. Start writing. You say that I will do cycling thrice a week. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 to 7:30 or 6 to 6:30, I will do cycling. You write down that I will study for my AI certification on Tuesday 4 to 5:30, and again Thursday 4 to 5:30. Yeah. So what you're doing is all the top categories that you have listed here, you're starting to plot here. Now what will happen with this? See the power of this. So assuming that you have put all this together, now you know the entire plan of how the week looks like for you. Meaning, what are your top things, what you will do here. Yeah. Now, if you start seeing that, say, assuming that your friend calls you and he says that, hey, can we go for this movie, second show, which is from 4 o'clock, and you look at your calendar and you say, hey, no, yaar, I am now you know this time is for me to read the AI certification curriculum. So then your friend will say, then what do we do? So you can tell that, can we take the evening 7:30 show, because by then I would complete my that, and you go for the movie at 7:30. Now if you don't do this, for example, if you don't have this category and plotting, what will happen? If somebody calls you, you will go at 4 o'clock, and you will not come back and even remind that you have to do for certificate, and then the whole day has gone. So we are not saying that you have to not build your relation, you have to spoil relationship with anybody, but you know how the calendar looks like. Now assuming that, despite all that, your friend says that, no yaar, I want to go at 4 o'clock show only, I don't want to go at 7:30. No problem, you shift your AI certification thing at 7:30, because you know that that day I will have to complete this particular curriculum to achieve that. So when you start plotting your categories so much that you will have no time, or you will have very less time for your akrasia, which means you will slowly reduce your Facebook time, you will reduce your mobile time, because the calendar will tell you what are your tasks that you have decided for. Now, despite all that, Okay, assuming that all that you had planned, and that week, there is a unplanned, say, some issue happened in the city, and you have not been able to go for your studies, or you fell, you got some viral infection, and 2 days you are completely down. You are able not to do anything. What we need to do next is that we will have to then start looking at the review part. So every Sunday, when you sit down and look at your diary 1 with diary 2, you start seeing that in diary 2, on Tuesday I had planned to do this particular study from 4 to 5:30, but because of my viral, I could not do that. So what you will do is, the following week, you will take the last week's uncompleted item and put it in the second week. So with this new approach, you will never miss out on a goal in the main category that you had planned for. Today, why are we not able to achieve our goals? Because there is no system to remind you. So a lot of people, I know that, in the month of January, all the gyms get the highest membership in January. Everybody says, in December 31st, that, this year I'm going to get back in shape, I'll start my exercise. They pay the money, but by the time it is February, March, they've all forgotten about the gym, because there is no system like this that is reminding them. So if I decide that I want to get in shape from 95 kgs to 75 kgs, till the time the 75 kg is done, this two system diary will keep reminding me. So if I forget the gym last week, when I do the review on Sunday, it will tell me, boss, in this category, you have not done your gymming. So now put it on Wednesday. Now with this model, what will then happen is that you will start enjoying achieving your goals. You will start seeing that how much of my time earlier I was wasting without me realizing that I could have used it more wisely. So you decide your categories, you decide your subcategories, you decide your plan, and you plotted them on the calendar. And this way, there will be no way you will actually not be able to achieve your task. So I'll take a pause here for a minute. I just want you all to start thinking about this two diary concept, and ask me any questions, any doubt you may have, before we move forward. I hope you guys are liking this system, and I am available. I mean, you can ask me any question even when you implement. You can take my number from Radhika ma'am, and or Rakesh ma'am, and then ask me any question you may have. But I want all of you to, today evening, go to a stationery shop, buy one diary, 100 pages book, which is your first diary, and buy calendar, diary 2. If they don't have calendar, don't worry. Buy another 100 pages book. Create calendar with your hand only. No big deal. For next 6 months, just draw. Take a scale and a pen, and just plot the calendars, like week 1, week 2, week 3, for every month. You can just have 10-15 pages. You will be done for the rest of the year. So ask me any question, any doubts you may have on this. And if you have understood this also, you can write your comment that we got it right. There is no question. Also write if you're liking this system, meaning, are you finding this all right? Are you finding this useful? And by the way, this is not something that is generally available in ebook. This is a system that I learned in 1995 by my boss called Dave Stoll. And I must tell you that, from that day onwards till today, I have this two diary system. And it has been so fantastic. I was at Wipro, I had like 750 people reporting into me. I had such a big department, and all my team members, everybody had this two diary. And even today at Crossover, everybody has this two diary. Very, very powerful. So just confirm to me your understanding. Are you always all right?
Yes, sir. They said they are understanding, but one question that we do make plans, but not able to maintain the consistency.
Yes. So,
Student name is Swagata.
so Swagata, why are you not able to make the consistency? Because there is no review mechanism every Sunday. So if you keep these two diary together, you will never miss out anything, because you will be able to consistently tell people who are taking you take a, so for example, why is not consistency? Because today, since you don't have the second diary, when somebody calls you that, hey Swagata, can we go to this grocery store, or can we go and do whatever, you'll immediately say yes, let's go. But when you have the two diaries, the second diary, you can tell the friend that, hey, 5 to 6:30, I have this cycling thing. Can we go at 6:30? So I'm not saying that you have to not, like, you have to spoil relationship with your friends. No. In fact, you should teach this two diary to everybody. And you tell your friends also, like, my diary looks like this. You also create your diary, so 6:30 that don't disturb me. We'll do all the party after that. No problem. Today, since there is no plan which is like reminding you again and again, there is no consistency. So this new system will bring consistency in your life. So Sagar, try this and like ping me on WhatsApp after 2 weeks, 3 weeks. How are you finding this? Hmm? And some of you should become ambassadors for this. Teach everybody, get into groups. Go and, like, today the whole stationery shop should get completely sold out for books. The 100 pages books. Or if you have anything at home or at your college, take that book only. No need to spend any money on this, big money. A very basic 100-page book is enough. 2 books. No fancy diary, no fancy mobile, nothing. So Agrada, can you promise me you will try this and update me? Rakesh, can I get Swagata's confirmation? Yeah. Anybody else? Any doubts? Anything on this two diary concept, on the
You
plotting?
mentioned that understood, sir. Yes, got it, sir.
Very
These
nice.
are
Yeah.
the replies.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Right. So good. So now what I'm going to introduce, and some of you may be already familiar with this. There is this thing called SMART goal. Okay. So if you Google or if you go to YouTube, you will find lots and lots of examples of SMART goals. So SMART stands for specific, which means when you are putting your the categories and the task and the goal, make it very specific. Yeah. And I'll give you a couple of examples of that. Make it measurable, which means that it should not be vague. It should be achievable. It should be achievable, that, you don't write that I will go to the moon in, by November. No, it's not achievable. Yeah. So make it also realistic. Yeah, realistically what is possible and time bound. So this is the definition of SMART. I'll give you a couple of examples. So if you look at the example of this, so I'm going to create a standard operating procedure for whatever. If you're in a college and you are you're the head of any library or whatever, or you're head of any particular group. If you're creating the standard operating procedure, that is very specific. So I'll create SOP. I will finish the writing of SOP in 3 months, which is measurable, which means that that in 3 weeks you are going to complete the SOP. uh, I will write 10 pages a day, which is achievable. So you can't say that I'll write 200 pages a day, because that is not possible with your current schedule. And relevant, I will do this because it will eliminate delays and bottlenecks from the procedure. Yeah, because if you do SOP, people will get clarity on what has to be done. And I will start on 20th May and finish by 6th June, which is time bound. So it's not that when I say 3 weeks, the 3 weeks never comes. You are continuously saying that, I will keep doing. Yeah. So this is one example of that. And I will send this deck to, I mean, Radhika has a deck. So Radhika and Rakesh, you can send this to all the, all the participants so that they can refer to this deck whenever they want to see this. There is another very nice example about, securing a promotion and becoming a specialist, senior specialist. So what is specific, what is measurable, what is achievable, what is relevant, what is time bound. You can see this a smart example here also. There is one more example that I would like to give. So you can, look at this. So these are very interesting example that you can try for yourself. Yeah. So I think this is fairly simple. So I'm not really worried too much about it. If if you also go to Google, you can find a lot of information on this. But whatever diary one that you're writing has to be smart. That is one thing that you have to be important, that you should take care of this. Yeah. And then I'm coming to the last part of it. So where I'm saying that 3 by 5 multiplier framework, for the achieving goal. So it is a very powerful statement that I will put for you in front of you. So how do multipliers think? How can you get more time? When I say more time, see, we all have got 24 hours in a day. When I say more time is in the same time, how can I achieve more? So how can I multiply my time? By spending more time on things today that will give me more time tomorrow. Just read it one more time. How can I multiply my time by spending more time on things today that will give me more time tomorrow? Which means, again, going back to your efficiency, your effectiveness, going back to your accuracia, your incretia, going back to activity and result. So what I'm doing here is, if I write an SOP today, yeah, and I give it to people who have to follow the SOP, versus I'm always answering their calls. So when I answer the call, maybe it takes only 10 minutes for me to answer the calls. And to write an SOP, it will take maybe 30 minutes, or it may take 2 hours. But once I've written the SOP, the 5 minutes, 10 minutes call will completely stop. But the problem many a times is that we don't generally spend that 2 hours today. We always keep doing this 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes every day. So when you are wanting to become a multiplier, you have to look at your effectiveness. You have to look at how am I going to do things today that will give me extra time tomorrow. So writing SOPs, ensuring that you're automating things, getting things in one place, organizing your information, all that you have to start thinking. Because although, initially you may have some hesitation to do that approach, but you have to start thinking in that direction. Yeah. So how can I multiply my time by spending more time on things today that will give me more time tomorrow? And this is the 5 lifestyle and habits of multipliers. So these are very nice tips. I'm going to give you this. So the first one is that I think you all should have a nice discipline. If you're not healthy, and if you're not exercising, and you're not eating well, you will actually not be able to achieve your goals. Yeah. And I know that in the college atmosphere, sometimes some of these things may not be sounding as important to all of you, but I think you will have to start now cultivating some routine, some pattern. Yeah. And those who are not exercising today, I think you will have to start doing that, because if you don't exercise, you will not be able to achieve your goals, because you will not be healthy to achieve the goals. So sleep, exercise, and diet are very important. Second is this journaling of two diary. Yeah. So, the two diary system that I talked about, and the habit of, constantly reviewing every week of what has happened in the week and what is remaining, is also a very important exercise that you should do. So, journaling is the second one. Third is a very important thing, and I want to just keep this on a slide for a minute, and I want you all to read this and just share with me on the chat. What do you understand by this now? So just write your thoughts on what is the understanding when you see the screen. And try to relate to all that we have done so far. And again, don't worry about whether the response is right, wrong. Just try and answer. So when you see this macro patience, micro speed, what do you mean by this? Yeah. Rakesh, any response so far? No.
Yes, sir. Sai Bhavya saying that whatever the intentions are, we have to be think twice with the patients. That whatever they, whether they are able to make it quickly or not, efficiently with the effectiveness or not.
Very nice. Very nice.
Because through
Yeah.
we don't because through the we do the works efficiently, we might not get the effectiveness. For
Very
the
nice.
reason, we have to be micro patient about the objectives.
Very nice. Brilliant. Brilliant. So Rakesh, give one more bouquet to her for the fantastic response. So we want to know that, say, assuming that you want to become, a expert in, I mean, artificial intelligence is a buzzword now. So if you want to become an AI expert or ML, whatever technology expert, that is your, like, you need macro patience. I mean, you need some time to achieve that. But many a times we keep thinking about that, but don't take action. So micro speed is you do lots of work every day, but the patience is required to achieve that. So when you look at this two diary concept and whatever we have put as a system together, you will actually be able to achieve that because you know that things are going to take time, but you're not sitting and not taking actions, which means that you're taking actions every day. So you've got big intentions and you're taking these actions, on a daily basis. The fourth lifestyle and practice that you saw. So you saw first was eating, diet. Second was journaling. Third was micro patience and micro actions. And fourth is, I think, making the best in any situation that of unplanned changes. Yeah. So many a times, I can give you my own example. So, for example, if I go to meet Uma in her company in Value Momentum, and Uma says that there is one urgent escalation with a client, and can you wait for another 45 minutes or half an hour before we can meet? Now, many people will get upset that you could have called me, or I mean, what will I do for that half an hour? Okay, I always tell my client or Uma that, Uma, can you just get me one place to sit? I'll finish off a couple of email responses that are pending, or I have to work on a proposal, so I will try and use that. So the people who are multipliers, the people who are able to achieve their goals, never get upset with situations where there is an unplanned change. So what they do is they make the best of that. So instead of getting upset, so when we are sometimes even at crossover, we have these Zoom calls, and the client doesn't come on time many a time, for example. We never get upset with that. We immediately start working on our internal reviews. We start working on our content. We start reviewing whatever is pending for us and never get upset. So, as a student, whenever you come across something that happens which is not planned, don't worry about that. Have and this two diary will help you so much, because now you have got the complete control of what you want in life. So when you look at this two diary have to be carried every time. So put it in your bag all the time. Yeah, because whenever you have such opportunity, you can use that opportunity to very nicely, make take advantage of that. And last, I think, is, whenever you're working on any of your categories, yeah, try to spend, and I'm going to request you to buy two books and see if you can get it on pdfdrive.com, which is a website for free. And Rakesh, you can type it in the chat. One is called as Procrastinate on Purpose by Rory Vadden, Roryvaden. Rory Vadden is Procrastinate on Purpose. And second is a book called Deep Work by a author called Cal Newport, Calnewport. So Cal Newport, you can write. And these two books, I want all of you to, say if you can buy from Amazon, or if the Kindle version is available, or you
Sorry
can.
to disturb you, sir. Just tell me the first book name.
Yeah, it's called Procrastinate, Procrastinate, on
STIAT.
purpose. Mhm.
Okay.
Procrastinate on Purpose by Rory Vadden, Roryvaden.
VADEN.
Ian, Vadden, Vadden.
Vaden. Okay.
And there is another book called Deep
Second,
Work.
okay, sir. Second, I already written. Deep
Perfect,
Work.
perfect. Cal Newport, yeah.
Yeah.
So good. So this is basically, if you read the book of Cal Newport, what he says is that anything that you do for a period of 90 minutes without distraction, there is uh, a chemical called myelin that gets secreted in our brain, which is responsible for creative solutions. So if you say if you if you switch off all distractions like email, social media, mobile calls, and stay focused for 90 minutes, you will start seeing a very different level of solutions coming from the work that you're doing. So, which means that you will have to concentrate for a period of 90 minutes. And while you're doing this, you can like minimalism, decluttering. I'm not going to go through all this, but when you read the book, you will find some very interesting concepts, where it is like, trying to like use the concept of minimalism, meaning how can I make the best out of whatever I have available. Declutter meaning start organizing. So even now, if you see the way we have gone through the program today, how systematically we learned where are we spending our time, what is effectiveness, what is efficiency, how can I organize my categories in life, how can I plot the time for that, how can I make my smart goals, and how can I be a multiplier, which is doing things today that will give me more time for future. And then this last part, which is a deep work. Yeah. So with this, I think we are coming to the last part, and I want to say good luck to all of you to achieve your goals in life. And I can be there for some time to you can ask me any questions, any doubts that you may have. You can put it on the chat that you would like to ask me. Or you can also share your thoughts on what are so for all of you, I just want like you to spend next 5 minutes talking about what are the uh, two things that really stood out for you in the whole session. Like, for some it may be something, the two things that really stood out for you in the whole session, that really you resonated. And it doesn't matter even if it is same for many of you, doesn't matter, but for you, just write down on the chat, what did you learn? Two things that really is a takeaway for you. So I'll give you 2-3 minutes to think and then start putting it uh, on the group, on the chat. So two things that stood out for you, two things that really it was very powerful for you. So we are at 4:25. Another 10 minutes we can. We are at budgeted 90 minutes for you, so we have time another 5-10 minutes.
Efficiency and effectiveness.
Very nice. Super. What else?
Majority students saying the same statement.
Okay. Yeah. Anybody else? What are the other two things? Yeah, efficiency and effectiveness definitely is a fantastic topic to be thought of. But what else? Are you finding the two diary concept useful? Are you going to implement all of you? Radhika, we should implement at HYSEA also. And Rakesh, you tell Shrikant sir about task also we should implement.
Sure, sir.
Yeah, and share this deck with all the students so that they can refer to this whenever they are practicing the learning. Yeah, any other comment? And we all also can ask any questions before we close. I think we have another 2-3 minutes. We are at 4:27, 4:30. I had planned for you guys. 90 minutes session.
Rakesh, any other questions from students?
No questions, Radhika. Yeah, actually, everyone's saying that thank you so much, sir. It was a wonderful session. And thank you for
Yes.
the idea of two diary. Will surely apply in my life and
Yes.
Yeah,
learn many things.
the
Thank you
diaries
again.
part highlighted. Yes,
Yes.
it's
Yes.
really
So Rakesh, you also reply on the chat that right now I am not taking any thank you. I will take thank you only after 2 months when they implement all this. So
Okay.
give my phone number to them, and then ask them to confirm to me after 2 months how has been for them. Yeah. Okay. So thank
sure,
you, students,
sure, Yogesh.
everybody.
We'll be sharing.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Take the deck, which is a very powerful deck. All of you should use this deck. Share with your family members. Share with your friends. Get into groups. Try and create this together so you can all achieve quite a bit. Next 20-25 years is India's years. We are demographically the best country in the world, which has got so many young people. But if you are not effective, and if we don't deliver to the world, then we have not make the best of this opportunity. Yeah. Okay, Radhika. So I think we are good. We are at
Great
4:30.
session. Thank you and task team members and entire college management to arrange for arranging all the students to be very actively participate for this session, especially. And we also will be sharing the presentation, whatever you mentioned in the meeting session. Rakesh and myself will work on that, and then if anything, let request all the students will come back with your questions, and Yogesh will be available for you all after 2 months, as you
Yeah.
mentioned.
Yes, after 2 months. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so
Okay.
much, Yogesh. Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Rakesh.
Radhika. Thank you, Rakesh, for everything. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Radhika. Bye.
Thank you.